So here are all of the ingredients that I'm going to need to make my Panjri today, and this in my opinion has to be one of the most simple and one of the most quick sweets to make because it only requires 3 ingredients. So what I have here is some white rice. I'm using the extra long grain white rice. Make sure to not use parboiled rice for this or else it's not going to come together properly. I also have some granulated sugar, and do not use the brown or demerara sugar because it's a little too coarse for this dish. And I also have some anise seeds, which is the main flavoring agent in this Panjri. So let's get into the cooking process now. So I took all of my white rice and I washed it really well, and then I went ahead and I put it in one of my little fine mesh strainers, and I'm letting that water drain out of the rice. So in the meanwhile, I'm going to work on the actual anise seeds. What I did in my pan here, I put it on a medium heat, and I'm going to parch these anise seeds until they're a golden brown color, a little darker than golden brown actually, and until they're really fragrant and they start to smoke up a little bit. And at that point, I'm going to show you guys what to do next. My anise seeds have been parching on a medium to medium low heat for exactly 8 minutes now, and as you guys can see, they've taken on a darker brown color than what they were before. And they're very fragrant now, and I don't know if you guys can see the little smoke that's coming out of the pan, but these are ready. And what I'm going to do is just empty it out into the little bowl that I had them in from before, so this way they can just cool off for a few seconds before we start to grind it. I just added in all of my anise seeds into my mortar and pestle. If you wanted to, you could do it the really traditional way and do it on a lorha and sil or the masala brick. You could also do it in your spice mill, in your food processor, or in your blender. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and grind it until I get a semi-fine powder. And I'm going to come back and show you guys what it looks like. So I've ground my anise seeds until they were a semi-fine texture. And what I mean by that is that they're fine for the most part, but it has a little chunk to it. Now this is totally up to you and up to your preference. If you like the powder to be super fine, go ahead and grind it that way. But if you like a little chunk in it like I do, then go ahead and do it just like this. So I'm going to empty this back into the little bowl that I had it in, and I'm going to set it aside, and we're going to start working on the rice. My rice is finished draining after I rinsed it out. Remember, when I rinsed it, I put it in my fine mesh strainer, so this way any water that was in it could dry out for the most part. What I'm doing now, on the same medium heat, I'm adding the rice into my pan. And what you're going to do is you're going to stir this around, and you're going to parch it on that same medium to medium low heat for just about 10 minutes, or just until that rice dries out totally and it starts to get a little crispy looking. And I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. My rice has been parching on a medium low heat for exactly 8 minutes now. It did not need the 10 minutes. And what I meant by the rice being crispy is when you pick up just a little bit of that rice, and be careful because the rice will be hot, and you crunch it, it starts to crumble in your hands. So as you guys can see, it's starting to get a little crispy. So when you touch it also, all of the moisture is gone from the rice. It's smoking up a little bit, and it gets the faintest golden brown color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off of the heat, and we're going to start grinding it. I've got my rice in my mortar and pestle, and as I said before, just like with the anise seeds, you're welcome to use your blender, your food processor, your spice mill, or any other device to go ahead and grind it that's easier for you. But since I'm making such a small batch, I decided the mortar and pestle would be just okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pound and grind this rice until the rice is a coarse texture. You want to try to get it till it's almost like cornmeal. You want it to be a little coarse, but not too coarse and chunky. Why you add this ground rice back into the pan is because sometimes when you're done grinding it, the rice might still have a little moisture in it. So you just want to parch it for like another 5 minutes, just until the rice comes together and dries out a bit more. And my heat is on a low at this point because being that it's ground, it's quicker to get brown, and you don't want your pan. My rice has been parching for about 2 minutes now, and after the 2 minutes, I'm going to go in with my ground anise seeds. And remember, this is the main flavoring of this dish, so you just want to stir it in and see if it needs any more. I'll have all of my ingredients and the measurements down in the description box below, so you can be sure to check those out, and you can see how to put this dish together. Now I want to show you guys something. This mixture has been parching here for exactly 5 minutes, and what you're really looking for is this rice to be really dry now. But do not try this at home because you might burn your hands. I just want to show you guys something. The pan is a little more cool than it was before. So once you see that it's nice and powdery like this, then you know that that Panjri is done. So I'm going to turn off my stove right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with some of my sugar. Now the stove has to be off for this step, or else the sugar is going to melt and it's going to caramelize. I'm going to stir that in, and your Panjri is done. You just toss it in, and then we're going to go ahead and put this into something so you can go ahead and serve it. Alright guys, so my Panjri is all done. Now this is the perfect texture for me. It's supposed to be a little powdery, have a little bit of texture and crunch to it, and it's just perfect, guys. I cannot wait to eat this alongside some Parsad. Now, in order to eat this dish, you do need Parsad to eat with it. This is not something that you just spoon into your mouth by itself, because it's pretty just dry and crumbly. It's not something that would be great by itself. So what I did here is I've served some up with a little bit of Parsad, and it is ready to serve now. All you do is you take a little pinch of the Parsad when you're going to eat it, and then you dip into there, or you could just pick a piece of the Parsad with it on it, and you can go ahead and eat. So I'm going to try it for you guys. This tastes so good. The way that it paired well with the Parsad, it's nice and crispy, and it pairs well with the Parsad's texture because the Parsad's a little more mushy, and this has a nice little crunch. The aniseed flavor is definitely coming through. Has the perfect amount of sweetness, not too much, and it's just a great dish, guys. So I hope you guys try this out, and I hope you guys try my Parsad recipe out. You're definitely going to enjoy this recipe. Please go ahead and give this video a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet. And make sure you go ahead and comment down below and tell me what you thought of this recipe, and also what you guys would like me to make next. I'll see you guys again in another one of my awesome videos.